And there are some people that the Spurs lost too.
Yes. Yes, there is.
And those are three names. One we're not even going to mention. It was Ray. Well, I'm mentioning it right now, but we're not really going to dive into depth on it. And that was Raekwon Gray. He was a 6'7", 260 power forward that they brought in for a couple days on training camp. He honestly, it might have just been like, hey, we need a body in the rotations for a couple days. Who knows what it really was, but he got cut. But then Seth Milner, who we had just signed to a two-way, we thought he was going to fill up that last two-way spot. He was from Toledo. I believe was an undrafted rookie. Also was released, so that opens up another two-way spot for the Spurs. So I think that's going to be very interesting when you consider like Champagny, and I don't think when we first got Charles Bassey, I don't know if he was on a two-way. I think we just ended up signing him. But the point is with like guys like Champagny and some of the other two-way guys we had last year, of course Dominic Barlow, we saw how the Spurs can use that system to turn guys into rotation players, if you will. So I'm interested to see who that is. And then, of course, the big one, waiving Reggie Bullock, which kind of all but confirmed that it seems like Shetty Osman, despite some crazy circumstance where we cut him and Kem Birch makes the team, which I don't think is going to happen considering like Shetty's actually been posted and the happy birthday post that the Spurs just did for Kem Birch still isn't a real jersey because he's literally never been in one. I think it's safe to say that Kem Birch is going to get cut, and Shetty ended up beating out Bullock for that kind of last wing position on the Spurs roster. And when you factor in his defense, his three-point shooting ability, his experience on championship teams, and his foreign heritage, perfect Spurs role player, in my opinion.
Yeah, to me, Chetty kind of embodies Doug McDermott a little bit in that similar play style, but maybe with a little bit better defensive ability.
Absolutely.
And I think he's also just bigger in general, like a more physical
6'7",
presence.
230.
He's someone that could play a small ball four a little bit better than Doug McDermott. I know Doug's played that position prior, but it's always been a weak spot, even though he spaces the floor. Chetty kind of addresses that weakness there. So I'm happy that he's on the squad. I think he'll probably get some meaningful rotational minutes, but losing Reggie Bullock, I mean, we didn't really lose him because we never really had him, but he was super professional. He had that one day where he popped off during Summer League tweeting about the Spurs
What's the
young
war
guys.
for Wemby?
Yeah, literally had like 4 tweets back to back to back to back. He was like, yeah, these young guns, they're playing great. Hashtag big vet, love San Antonio. Like nothing but a pro. So he will go down in Spurs lore next to guys like Chandler Hutchinson, as you alluded to in a text message to me earlier this week, and Al-Farouq Aminu. Just Spurs legend through and through. Hope nothing but the best for him. Maybe he'll sign with Boston, who now suddenly has depth need in their backcourt off the bench.
Shoot, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see where Reggie goes because I think he's going to end up going to one of those contenders. One of my other friends, we were texting about that Drew Holiday trade in a group chat today, and Boston was a name he immediately mentioned as well. Whoever he goes to, he's going to give them, he's not a potato on defense. Maybe he's not a world beater, but still solid and an elite three-point shooter. He can definitely be a backup three, for some championship contending team.
Or even Milwaukee. I forget they
Right.
lost Grayson Allen in that trade to get Dame, so he could provide some much needed depth for them as well.
That was the other name my friend mentioned
Yeah,
too.
those are the two
Yeah,
teams.
all the NBA fans, they're right. The Bucks and the Celtics are in their psyche right now.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the Spurs, Ethan. Any final thoughts, kind of on those roster moves before we move on to the depth chart?
One more to go. I think it's pretty much a consensus between Spurs fans and Twitter that it should be Kem Birch. If it's not, then I don't understand what's going on. Maybe Pop sees something in Kem that we haven't in his limited playtime in practice. Like we don't even have like a Kem in the practice facility photo or a media day photo. Like we have literally no evidence that he was on the team aside from a couple games where he was at the end of the bench in a suit. Like that's the only evidence.
This is why we've been joking about it on the show, and I made it such a big deal because it's weird. Like
Yeah.
we cut Bullock before we cut him. Like even if we eventually end up cutting him, just the way it went down. Like the NBA posted a happy birthday post for him 3 days ago, which was his birthday, and it was a picture of him in a Raptors warm up because they don't have one of him in a Spurs warm up.
Yep.
Even though he's been on the team for over half a year and played half a season.
Literally.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's so funny. And the graphic, like I was mentioning, how there's no like number on the jersey. the 92 Birch, like in the Spurs graphic, you go look at the happy birthday graphic from the Spurs, not from the NBA. It's like you can tell it's like a graphic of his jersey. It's not the actual jersey. It's in the
Yep.
bottom left corner of the. I know I'm saying graphic a lot, but it was like a mini graphic of his jersey to showcase the 92 because it wasn't on his actual jersey because he never took a picture in it. Anyways, isn't that nuts? Like
It is. It's very strange. It is very strange. So I'm assuming in the next couple days we'll see that Woj bomb Ken Birch bought out or waived
yeah,
by San
right.
Antonio Spurs. Well, whatever.